Hi, welcome to Smack Talk. I'm your host, Thomas LaGrasse.
I'm Jacob Stevens.
I'm Deja.
I'm David.
I'm Noah.
And today we'll be talking about the 2015 Game Awards. So to start off, just in general, do all of you think the Game Awards are a legitimate kind of award system? Is it really a marital system for the game, or is it more just a publicity stunt for the game companies? We'll start with you, Noah.
That's a good question, actually. I think it's both, but more of an actual thing to see who thinks what game is the best. But the game who wins obviously gets a lot of fame and is more well known. So say Fallout 4 won, more people would buy it than the millions that already have it. So kind of balances it out.
I can agree with that to a certain extent. When you have the the winner obviously gets perks and their game can get bought a lot more versus losers who don't. But it also even getting picked as a nominee and stuff is credible mention. So I think that the Game Awards, because they're not super popularized like they want it to be, it's not like the Oscars. It's no one's guys, time for the Game Awards. So take a seat. And so I think the majority of it as of right now is mainly publicity. I think eventually as it gets a bigger following, it'll become more like the Oscars where it's an event, it's a show that really showcases everyone. And so I think eventually it'll transition, but I think right now it leans more towards making other people look good.
I think all awards are publicity stunts.
Fair point.
Yeah, but I think it's more on the publicity side for the Game Awards, since it's more for the games and the developers and not pretty much the key personnel that go into it. There's really nothing for voice actors or the directors of these games or the music compositions or the people who actually make these things. So until that gets in, I don't think we can really, I guess it doesn't encompass all aspects of a game. So it needs the help with that.
So it more recognizes games as a whole than rather the individual people who contribute to it.
Yeah. Because there's something like the Oscars or something. There's best director, best composed score, best sound engineering, animation, and stuff like that.
I mean, best score goes to whoever wrote the Zelda soundtrack.
True.
Yeah.
For every year.
Who actually won best score this year?
Anyway, your thoughts, Jacob?
Wonderful. I think the bigger thing for this, the Game Awards, is say you're that person who's in the store and you don't know what to buy. Just Cause 3 came out, Fallout 4 came out, The Witcher 3. You're having to decide on all of these, and you think, well, they got the award, so this has got to be one of the greater games. So you're gonna buy that instead. That's one of the big things that the Game Awards does. It helps you to put it in terms. It really publicizes whose game did the best of this, did the best of this, and it's an award system that helps people say, oh well, this got the best, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this game instead.
Makes sense. So the big main topic we're going to kind of go on to is who actually won the Game of the Year. So this year, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt won the Game of the Year. There were 4 other nominees, which was Bloodborne, Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, and Super Mario Maker. Now, do you think that The Witcher 3 deserves the title of Game of the Year? Should the other 4 have gotten the Game of the Year, or is there even a game that wasn't even considered that should have been Game of the Year?
The only game that deserves to win is Halo 5. That is the only game acceptable.
Undertale.
Undertale.
No.
Yeah, Undertale.
There's a bunch of good games that got left out, I think,
Yeah.
but it's they can't have a list of 10 nominees, so I get it. But you got to think a lot of them, or at least a lot of the games that they had there, came out more recently.
Yeah.
Fallout 4, Super Mario Maker. It was games. It's the same with the Oscars. The movies that are released in November are the movies that are highly do really well for the
That's because everyone who votes
awards.
for the Oscars are really old and have short memories.
Yeah, stuff at the beginning of the year you tend to forget, but it's so.
Maybe Fallout 4 might have won if it was released earlier. Who knows?
You know, what bothers me is that they're only really considering AAA titles. They're not taking like independent games into consideration.
Yeah, I think the indie game thing has its own separate category.
Well, it
doesn't
had its own separate category, but you never see like an independent game that got really well done for a big award.
That's true.
We get it. Undertale. Calm down, Noah.
Is Super Mario
come over
Maker a
there.
AAA title? I don't.
Well,
Does it even
it's a
count?
Nintendo
Well,
title.
it's Nintendo's big man. It's Nintendo's main.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't.
wait, wait.
I don't really count CD Projekt Red as one of the AAA. I wouldn't count them as that.
I mean, I still understand that it's highly publicized, is what you're going by.
Yeah,
It means
but-
like a big game, a big name, like a brand name game.
They always
versus-
have.
I mean, I would
it's
argue
always
that
with the
Splatoon's probably-
advertisements. They've got the anticipation awards, everything like that.
For what?
This is the most
Mario Maker?
publicity CD
Anticipation
Projekt
awards.
Red has
Hold
ever
on,
gotten. No one really played The Witcher 1 or 2, and no one even knew that it was based off like books before then. So
It's
I
based
think,
off of books.
Yes.
You just blew my mind. I'm just like,
Wait, what?
Witcher.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going off Super Mario Maker. I was
was-
like, whoa.
By the way, guys, Super Mario Maker, it's a book.
Yeah. We
Oh,
originally got
God.
that
Yeah,
game for
read up on
Mario
your
RPG.
Nintendo lore.
It's a whole lore, 50 volume books. It's all out there.
I'm gonna have to go read these books now.
It's like how they released that Zelda timeline. They're like, oh, there's actually 50 timelines. You're welcome. There's no real explanation. That's what Super Mario Maker is.
Just
It's
assume they're
not a
all right.
timeline. It's a multiverse theory.
It's
thing.
whatever.
Anyway, so moving on, were there any games this year that you think were just completely snubbed, didn't get any recognition?
If you
at
say
the Game
Undertale, I
Awards?
swear to God, Noah.
If you say Undertale, then good on you. Because, like, the rest of the Indian
No
community
comment.
will love you.
No comment.
I think,
Smart
okay,
man.
so
Rocket League.
Rocket League. That's
League
it's
won.
I know.
yeah,
I
great
just had to
game.
come up with something.
No, but so I was saying Halo 5, but Halo 5 is a good game. Personally, like I understand like it had more troubles with the campaign, and it's the multiplayer that was really good about it, and so I understand why that wasn't picked. Certain games throughout the year, I think while like all the games nominated were ones that I haven't played because it was like I didn't play a lot of games this year, surprisingly, but The Witcher 3 definitely deserves it. I've seen stuff from it. I have fiddled around with it a little bit. It's a good game. So, I mean, while there may have been games that were left out, I think the games that were recognized were ones deserving of it, at least.
What about you two? Any games snubbed this year?
Yeah. Soma.
Soma?
Soma.
I didn't even think of that one.
Isn't Soma that like
I've
horror
never even
game?
heard of it.
It was a horror game, but the story that goes behind it is an extremely deep story.
I think I have it on my wish list.
Probably. It was really.
For
It was
someone else to buy
actually
one.
pretty popular. A lot of like famous YouTubers, a lot of them played it, and they thought it was an amazing game.
The City Skylines coming
Well,
out
I gotta
this
check
year?
out YouTube more often then.
It's also a
I'm not
different thing.
sure.
There's a lot of open world games, and obviously with the exception of Super Mario Maker, but there's a bunch of open world games and like Witcher, Fallout. It was I think is Bloodborne more path
Yeah,
driven.
Bloodborne is a
Is-
bit
is
more
more-
path,
a
a
bit-
bit more path driven. It's a bit of open world.
Yeah, but still, it's like it's like game of the year, like the Oscars. It's like typically based off a true story. Typically, this. It's like game of the year is typically like a single player game, like predominantly, and is typically, like open world or like a certain perspective or something like that. Like that's the certain style. So like Super Mario Maker was a bit of a shocker for me in there. Because I was like, while it's a great game and I understand why it made it, it was so off-key compared to everything else.
Yeah.
Everything else was like a different art style, and then you got like Nintendo artsy-fartsy little Mario bouncing around,
Yeah,
and
take
like
offense.
every once in a blue moon you get the tall Mario with the mushroom,
Yeah.
whatever that creature is. We'll discuss
And then
that
sometimes
later.
you get the start. It goes.
Right,
Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
We should do, like,
it was
a part where we
strange to
just
see
sing
it,
that.
but for real.
I wouldn't count Super Mario Maker as a game.
I mean, I kind of was surprised that Super Mario Maker was even considered for Game of the Year.
It got snubbed.
Well, because
It was
the
nominated.
because with Mario Maker, I don't really count that as Nintendo's big title this year. I think Splatoon was definitely their bigger
Yeah,
title this year.
And I thoroughly enjoyed Splatoon. That
Same
game
here.
is fantastic.
I actually
is.
have a roommate who has it, and I played it for a little while. It was actually a lot better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I thought it would just be like
I,
just like turf, and I was like, and then I played it, and I was like,
yeah, I saw it and I was like,
Just put an animation in there, just like
it was like my main pushover to getting the Wii U.
Fireworks coming out of
There
your
was Mario Kart 8 and Smash Brothers was already out, and then I saw Splatoon coming out, and I was like, all right, that's it. I'm finally gonna get a Wii U. So I got it, and then I got those 3 games, and I was like, this game is so much fun, and I was actually good at the multiplayer. I wasn't
You say that
trash
now.
like every first-person shooter I play, but
same thing.
overall it was a great game.
Well, Splatoon did win Best Shooter.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That was probably deservedly so.
Take that,
Yeah.
CS:GO.
I think that was one of my favorite awards because Splatoon won it
Yeah.
Yeah.
as a best shooter, and it was just like one of those games that you just don't take seriously.
Yeah, like
A lot of
Look at
times-
the color
like-
palette. Why would you?
Exactly.
is it a squid? Is it a kid? We don't know.
Oh my God! Please don't bring that back.
Yeah.
I feel like
No,
that's
and
the homage
so
to
many
you
videos.
shooting your
Dynamic.
friends with, water guns in your backyard when you were 7. To me, that's what that game kind of felt like. That fantasy you had, like when you were at
When
war,
you're out
but
of
you're
Nerf
using
bullets.
water guns,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your imagination takes a lot of part of that game than, say, Call of Duty or something, which is ultra realistic.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing with the shooters. They were basically all the same. And so Splatoon kind of deserves to win that award because it's different than every other shooter. It's ink and paint and kids that turn into sea creatures.
You can go
Travel
into
through the
ink.
paint.
Honestly,
That's the best.
honestly, Call of Duty had a good chance with that pay respects. Amazing. They are going into new areas now.
Quick time events.
The only
That's the
thing,
picture they need to
the
go.
only thing that would have been better is if they had made it so you had to press a combination of keys.
It's like
like a cheat
It's like
code.
God of War.
It's like
turning
Guitar
over
Hero
Konami
all
code.
over
Konami
again.
code is the only thing.
That would actually be cool. Like if Kratos just came like into Call of Duty and just start cutting people up. That'd be cool. I'd buy that game.
Well,
is it?
I mean, we already have a game that's basically put together of both of them. It's called Evolve.
That sounds
No,
like
I
it
mean
was made by
actually,
Insomniac.
literally
Actual
Kratos.
random-
I don't
Just
want
coming
Kratos.
into Call of
Random
Duty.
pitches.
I think we're getting off topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is there anything
Absolutely
we
not.
want to say about the Game Awards?
I think The
Before
Witcher
we
3
wrap up?
deserved it.
Noah.
Undertale. Let's finally move on to the real big topic. Undertale, best soundtrack, best game of the year. Thank
What's
you.
Undertale?
Someone give me something to throw at him. I don't care what it is.
Undertale
Just
is a
give me
Steam
something to throw
game.
at him.
This is a cupper.
Very, very good Steam game.
Oh,
That's,
okay.
you
That's
know,
glass. Then I
Not
have to pick it up.
$60 like
I don't think it's
everything else.
glass.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go play that now then.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all the time we have for this episode, and we will see you next time on Smack Talk.
Da-na-na. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-na-na. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da.